Isn't it astonishing that some creatures live for such an extended period? I'm taken aback to learn that some can even survive beyond 200 years.
What's got you thinking, Oliver?
Hi, Emma. I was just engrossed in a documentary about animals. It suggests that there might be bowhead whales that have lived for over 200 years. Pondering over it, 200 years ago was a time when gasoline cars hadn't even been invented yet.
Indeed, bowhead whales are among the most colossal creatures in the animal kingdom.
Is there a correlation between size and lifespan?
Absolutely. In warm-blooded animals like us, as the size of the body increases, the rate of aging tends to decelerate. Mammals and birds have evolved to maintain a high body temperature regardless of the surrounding climate, enabling them to constantly exert high physical abilities. However, to sustain body temperature, the same amount of heat that escapes from the body's surface must be produced internally. Smaller creatures lose body heat more readily, so they increase their heart rate, breathing frequency, and shorten the blood circulation cycle to elevate the amount of energy produced in the body, or in simpler terms, increase their metabolic rate. Thus, as the body becomes smaller, biological time flows more swiftly, accelerating aging and reducing lifespan.
Now that you've mentioned it, it does make sense. Even among pets, smaller animals like hamsters seem to have shorter lifespans compared to dogs or cats. But wait, it's peculiar when you think about it. I've heard that parrots can live for over a decade. Despite their modest size, it seems odd that they can live for that long.
That's an astute observation. As I mentioned earlier, generally, an animal's lifespan tends to correspond to its body size. However, as you've rightly pointed out, Oliver, there are exceptions. For instance, most birds and bats, which are warm-blooded creatures capable of flight, tend to age very slowly relative to their size. Among albatrosses, which weigh about 4 kilograms, there are individuals that have lived for over 70 years. The Brandt's bat, despite weighing only about 10 grams, has been confirmed to live for at least 41 years.
So, despite their small size, some creatures can live for decades. This has sparked my curiosity. Could you elaborate a bit more?
Certainly. So, today we'll delve into why birds and bats age slowly.
I'm eager to hear more.
Before we dive into the main topic, let's first grasp what aging is. Aging consists of various factors, but it can be largely encapsulated by oxidation and glycation.
Oxidation and glycation?
Let me simplify. To survive, creatures need energy, and most of them produce energy using oxygen. Oxidation is the process where reactive oxygen species, which are produced during this process and react easily with surrounding substances, damage cells. Conversely, glycation is a reaction where proteins combine with sugar, impeding their normal functions. One of the reasons why the bodies of elderly people are prone to pain is that tendons and ligaments harden due to glycation.
So, as the names imply, reactions involving oxygen are oxidation, and those involving sugar are glycation.
Precisely. And the key point here is that the amount of oxidation and glycation increases as metabolism increases. Oxidation occurs due to the reaction that uses oxygen to produce energy, which is metabolism itself. Also, the rate of glycation increases with higher temperatures, so creatures with higher metabolic rates and body temperatures tend to glycate faster. By the way, glycation is also known as the Maillard reaction, which is the reason why meat changes color when cooked.
Just like how meat changes color faster when cooked at a higher temperature, the bodies of animals with a higher body temperature would have a higher rate of glycation.
Exactly. Now, let's examine the characteristics of bats and birds, which are our main topic today. Bats and birds are typically small animals that expend a lot of energy to regulate their body temperature, and they tend to be very active, often flying. Logically, these animals should age faster. However, in reality, they age slowly and boast a lifespan several times to tens of times longer than animals of the same size.
So, bats and birds have unusually long lifespans that defy the rule that larger metabolic rates tend to shorten lifespan.
That's correct. Moreover, bats and birds are not only capable of living long lives, but they can also maintain high physical abilities for an extended period. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the Brandt's bat, despite weighing only about 10 grams, has been confirmed to live for at least 41 years. Small bodies require a lot of energy to maintain body temperature, which means they need a lot of food to sustain life. Therefore, they need the stamina to fly several kilometers every night in search of large amounts of food, the ability to fly agilely to catch insects, and advanced hearing to use echolocation. And the Brandt's bat maintains these abilities even in old age.
As we humans age, our physical movements and senses tend to dull. Interestingly, though, bats don't seem to exhibit much of these aging phenomena.
Exactly, Oliver. And let's not forget about birds. Take the oldest confirmed albatross named Wisdom, for instance. She's over 70 years old and continues to lay eggs. Raising young means she has to gather food for both herself and her offspring. According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the total distance Wisdom has flown in her lifetime is estimated to be 8 million kilometers. That's equivalent to 6 round trips between the Earth and the Moon.
6 round trips between the Earth and the Moon? That's an astounding distance.
Indeed, it is. So whether it's bats or birds, despite having characteristics that would generally make them prone to aging, they tend to have very long lifespans and often maintain a youthful body, even in old age.
Based on our discussion so far, it seems that bats and birds have an impressive ability to resist aging. But I'm curious, how do they manage to prevent aging? What sets them apart from other organisms?
In a nutshell, they prevent aging by enhancing measures against oxidation and glycation. Birds and bats have a lower rate of oxidation and glycation in their bodies, and they are also found to be superior in dealing with oxidation and glycation that do occur. However, the critical question of what mechanism they use to take these measures is still largely unknown, as there are few biologists studying the longevity of bats and birds.
That's a bit disappointing.
On the flip side, there are some theories as to why birds and bats have evolved better measures against aging than other species. One reason is that the act of flying is excellent for survival. Animals with the ability to fly can escape to unreachable places when attacked by predators, and conversely, can chase their prey advantageously. Also, if there is a scarcity of food, they can relatively easily move to places where there is more food.
Indeed, it does seem like you could gather food in a short amount of time if you could fly. But flying seems less energy efficient than walking on the ground. Even if you can get food quickly, if you waste energy, it doesn't seem like a survival advantage.
It depends on the situation, but the energy efficiency of flying as a means of transportation is often not as bad as you might think. Birds that migrate long distances, like migratory birds, can travel mostly without flapping their wings by spreading them wide and catching the wind well. Even for short-distance movements, they can move efficiently, such as when eating fruits from trees. For creatures without the ability to fly, once they finish eating the fruit of one tree, they have to go down to the ground, move to the base of another tree, and then climb up that tree. On the other hand, creatures with wings can directly eliminate this up and down movement.
When you think of flying, you imagine it uses a lot of energy, but in reality, there are many situations where it's fuel efficient.
That's right. So, to sum up our discussion so far in the harsh outdoor environment, the ability to fly effectively increases the chances of escaping from predators and securing energy, both of which are threats to life. Therefore, creatures that have evolved the ability to fly have relatively more leeway for survival and can concentrate the extra resources on increasing their lifespan, resulting in a longer lifespan than other creatures.
So, because they can solve many survival problems with their flying ability, they have the resources to focus on anti-aging measures.
Exactly. On the other hand, it is also thought that they had no choice but to extend their lifespan in order to maintain their ability to fly, which is at the heart of their survival strategy.
What does that mean exactly? Why would a creature need a long lifespan to gain the ability to fly?
Let me break it down for you. Birds and bats have had to undergo significant adaptations, such as hollowing out their bones and reducing their external reproductive organs to acquire flight. This also impacts their reproduction. Fish and amphibians carry a large number of eggs, some of which can weigh up to 20 of their body weight. However, if birds and bats carried that much weight, their flight would be significantly hindered. As a result, birds and bats have fewer offspring at a time. While it varies among bird species, most bats only give birth to one offspring a year. Therefore, it's believed they aim to live as long as possible to increase their chances of producing offspring and leaving descendants.
So, if they can only produce fewer offspring at once, the strategy is to maximize the number of births. Birds and bats are thought to have extended their healthy lifespan for this reason.
Exactly. Of course, it's not a simple comparison because unlike creatures that produce a large number of eggs like fish, birds and bats also invest efforts in raising their offspring to increase their survival rates. But trying to increase the number of births due to having fewer offspring at once is a very logical strategy. So it's not necessarily incorrect. Well, that's the gist of it for now.
Thanks, Emma. It's surprising to learn that there are creatures with small bodies that live very long lives.
The notion that larger size correlates with longer lifespan is more of a trend. Well, I think we'll wrap up here for now. Thanks for watching till the end. I enjoy sharing interesting scientific stories like this, so feel free to visit again.
Your subscriptions and likes are greatly appreciated.
Thank you for watching.